Welcome back. This is Midwest Outdoor Chasers putting on Primal Plate episode 2. We are going to be cooking up some deer heart.
Yeah, so we've got deer heart from a young doe here. Again, people trying to shy away from organ meat, but heart is really nothing more than a muscle, and it's actually super good for you. It's got some extra vitamins and minerals in it that the regular muscles don't have. But as far as cooking with it and the taste, it's really not that much different than a little bit of a tougher muscle. It is a little chewy, but the flavor is really good. It's very rich and very filling, I find. As far as prepping the heart, you just want to get rid of all this like fat cap on the top. You can see like the different chambers, the arteries, and then all this fat on the outside. You want to get rid of that. That won't have good flavor. You know, you want the good pink, deep red flesh. So you can kind of start just kind of by chopping the top off there, and then you can really see the different chambers. It's pretty wild, really. And then just kind of carefully, just kind of trim that little bit of fat off there. This was a young deer, so not a lot of fat, and it's not that big of a heart either. If you have an older, especially like a big buck, the heart might be double this size. It's really impressive.
Now, is the heart kind of like a liver where if it's an older deer or an older animal, it's going to take on a little bit of a, not necessarily a gamey flavor, but a more organy flavor? Do you know? You
know, as far as flavor, it doesn't change too much, but it might be tougher. Like an older liver is going to be very pungent and strong, whereas heart might not be so much. It might have more flavor, but it's just kind of like any other part of the deer. If it's a gamey deer, if it's a rutting buck, that's going to translate through all the muscles and the heart.
True.
So you can see there's still a little bit. You don't need to worry about getting every little single scrap off there, but once you've got it like this, all you got to do is just cut it into thin slices.
There it is. It definitely smells like deer. It definitely has that smell to it. It's not as quite as strong as the liver was, but it's definitely deer heart.
Yeah. And you might, this deer I got pretty clean. You see I got a little blood clot in there, but you'll find as you clean these hearts, there might be a huge blood clot in these chambers. So you definitely want to get rid of that. But once you got that and pretty much anything that doesn't look appetizing, just these inner parts of the heart, the white stuff, that's going to be chewy and not real desirable.
Do you bread these at all when you cook them ever?
I don't. You probably could. I don't know why you couldn't, but we're just going to fry this up like you might fry a steak, you know. Very simple preparation. We're just going to give them a little salt and pepper.
Is this another cut that you do medium?
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
I can see how well done that would be. Slightly unappetizing.
Yeah, well, I mean, most things wild game, you don't want it well done. And people get nervous with organ meat because they think, oh, you got to cook it all the way through, you might get sick. But that's really not true. I mean, you know, that's what's great about cooking your own wild game, because you were there when you gutted the animal. You saw the liver, you saw the heart. You could tell if it was a healthy animal or not. And if it was a healthy animal, you have nothing to fear. And if it wasn't, you'll know. And so you don't need to cook the heart all the way through or the liver all the way through to make it safe to eat. Just like you would a steak. You know, medium.
A nice
is fine.
medium, a little pink in the center.
Yep. Drop this in there. Could have been a little hotter. You want a nice sizzle. So that's perfect. Just a little bit bloody, just like a medium rare steak is exactly what you want right there. So those are ready to come off. Since we cooked in bacon grease, it's always a good idea to put a paper towel on your plate. All right, well, give her a shot.
I'm stoked about this. That's fantastic.
Yeah, to me it just tastes like steak.
Yeah, it's like a really less fat, honestly like a gristly end of a steak. Is
Yeah,
how
it's
that
a little
reminds me
chewy. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but as flavor-wise, there's nothing unexpected there.
No, flavor, you couldn't tell me, if I blindfold you couldn't tell me that's an organ meat.
Yeah.
That makes me so happy because the last time that I had deer heart, it was terrible. It was just chewy. It wasn't, I mean, it's not too it's not too chewy to where it like bounces back when you chew it, but it's pretty comparable to the liver. It's just got a little bit more of a firm texture to it.
Yeah, yeah. This was a nice young deer. An older one might have been a little tougher. But another thing I do with it a lot is I make kebabs and like marinate it. It's a little chewy for kebabs. You got to have the right group eating it because not everyone wants that chewiness in their kebabs. But you know, it's just meat. You know, you don't have to treat it with kid gloves or like it's something gross or needs a lot of extra attention. Just cook it.
You don't even have to over season it because I mean that thing you taste the pepper and the bacon right away. I mean, it just takes on the flavor of whatever it's cooking. I mean, because it doesn't have an overpowering, like even when you cut it open, it's just like the liver.
Yeah.
Where you smelled it right away. The heart, you can definitely smell it was a deer heart. It doesn't retain that flavor when you smell it in the beginning. So episode 2, we had fried deer heart. That was fantastic. I've only had deer heart one other time and it was not very good and it's kind of drawn me away from it for a long time, but that was awesome. That was fantastic.
Thank you. Yeah, it's one of those things you can't believe how many of those get left in the woods for the coyotes and raccoons. At the end of the day, I mean, I said a lot. It's just meat. You don't have to treat it any different than you'd treat any other meat, and it's got a great flavor. It's got a really good nutritional value. I don't know the exact scientific breakdown, but I know compared to just like a deer steak, there's more vitamins and minerals in the heart. But there's no reason that everyone shouldn't be eating that. I mean, like a liver is a little bit of a stronger flavor, but it's just meat.
Yeah, that doesn't have an overpowering flavor. You could blindfold me and I'd think that's just a lean steak. I mean, it might be a little chewier than a prime cut steak, but I mean, flavor-wise, it's not overpowering. It really takes on whatever flavor you're cooking it with. Like the bacon grease was probably the most pronounced flavor that I had in there. Yeah. It was fantastic. And it's not, I had a stigma that it was gonna be a lot chewier than it was. But thinly sliced and fried up, I mean, it doesn't bounce back. It's not rubbery. It's a firmer meat. It's not, you know, super tender by any means, but it's definitely not something you're going to sit there and gnaw on for an hour. You know?
It's not hard to get mushed up and down the gullet. If you guys like this video, if you find it informational, I'd encourage you to like and subscribe and stay tuned for more.